Good evening, beautiful woman. Welcome to Isaya's Inspiring Evenings, a podcast full of goddess stories, witches' secrets, colors of women and fairy seasons to integrate serenity, abundance, joy, and magic into your life. This is episode 49, the TooMuch Woman Travels in Time, episode 9, Lessons about Sex, Self-Love, and Energy Orgasms. I am IsayaBelle, Creatrix, magical pragmatic inspiration mentor, tech goddess teacher, and traveling priestess. And this podcast aims to accompany you for peaceful and inspiring evenings. Isaya's Inspiring Evenings is published very irregularly, and you will find more information and the references I am talking about on the website IsayaBelle.com. Subscribe to the podcast on the platform of your choice to be informed of the publication of each new episode. If you like this podcast, you can support it by leaving stars, blue thumbs, and reviews on whatever platform you listen to me. Lessons about sex, self-love, and energy orgasms. Picture this. South of France, a remote hamlet, August 2005. I am 38 years old. Upon the persistent recommendation of both my therapist and some dear friends, both male and female, I make up my mind, master the courage and the money, and decide to go and investigate Tantra. Let me rewind a tiny bit and give you a definition of Tantra. Tantra defines both a Hindu or Buddhist mystical or magical text dating from the 7th century or earlier, and the doctrines, values, or practices involving mantras, meditation, sexuality, massages, breathing, and ritual in order to achieve self-fulfillment and union with the divine. Tantra dates back more than 5,000 years. In Sanskrit, the word Tantra means woven together. The tantric practice is a way to weave the physical with the spiritual. Sexuality is part of the development of the individual and leads to its full development by promoting the circulation of energy. Tantric sex brings together spirituality and sexuality. It isn't about sexual pleasure, but more about celebrating your body and feeling heightened sensuality. The practice intertwines spirituality, sexuality, and a state of mindfulness. It may be experienced alone or with a partner. The goal of tantric sex is to achieve spiritual or energetic contact during a sensual experience. This practice is slow, and the aim is not always to achieve orgasm. Pleasure reaches the whole body, not just the genitals. Instead, it's about feeling a connection either to your partner or to yourself that is both intense and enlightened. Tantra has a sacred dimension, reached by the fusion of the masculine and the feminine, represented in Hindu temples by Shakti and Shiva. Tantra helps us unite sexuality and spirituality, masculine and feminine, shadow and light, relaxation and stimulation, meditation and experience. Tantra is thus a catalyst for transcending duality through love, and it unifies all that is divided, creating wholeness and healing. Tantric practice offers awareness of our fundamental unity, body and mind, in relation to the universe at all times and in all areas of life. This approach involves learning about our double polarity, masculine and feminine, and accepting our entire reality with its shadows and lights. Tantra is a way of expanding human consciousness. In the West, the word Tantra has wrongly become synonymous with sexuality. The Tantric vision is way vaster, though, since it extends well beyond the fields of love and sexuality, apprehending in a global vision psyche, heart, and spirit, but also the universe and all its mysteries. Tantrism is perhaps the most holistic spiritual path that has ever existed. Tantra is an art of living that brings powerful and original tools to better know oneself and also to work on your relationships with others. In fact, there is not one Tantra, but several Tantras. As far as I'm concerned, I attended several workshops over the course of 4 years with two amazing people called Marisa Ortolan and Jacques Lucas. Both are deeply experienced psychotherapists on top of being tantrikas, practitioners of Tantra, and workshop facilitators. Their version of Tantra is imprinted with the exploration of the unconscious and psyche and of our beliefs, habits, and emotional difficulties. This way broader approach encompasses way more than sexual disorders or pleasure issues, and digs deep in order to help the participants achieve a new way of being, more intense, more serene, more true, freed from the dictatorship of the mind, and aims to open students to incarnate spirituality, to put spirit in matter in the body. With them, I studied and practiced Tantra in single-sex groups. Women groups can be such a lovely space and such a challenging experience. As an individual in mixed-sex groups, and as a part of a couple in couples groups. I have to say, if I was to be asked what is the most profound, life-changing, destabilizing, and meaningful experience I've had in my life, Tantra would be it without a doubt. When you find yourself naked, in all senses of the term, in front of a bunch of strangers, whether same-sex or opposite sex, when you're supposed to talk about your body, about your emotions, in that state of nakedness and rawness, it changes you. It changed me, forever. 4 years of nakedness. At the beginning, I was so fully convinced that there was no way I could do it. My first experience was a couples workshop that I attended with my husband. Felt safe enough. Whatever was going to happen between the two of us. Now, I really wasn't prepared with the shock of really feeling energy for the first time and experiencing quote-unquote energy orgasm, which, in case you have no clue, is something like a huge wave of energy and pleasure flooding your whole body, mind and spirit for an indefinite amount of time, can last up to an hour, and which keeps flowing up and down your spine and bringing more and more joy and expansion and love and pleasure. It's like a never-ending roller coaster of delight, love and fulfillment in all your body. And mind you, this happened to me out of the blue, after my husband simply blew some air through a silk scarf onto my chakras. Both he and I were fully dressed, we were not having sex, and we were in the middle of a room with another 40 people. This experience opened up something in me that I longed to keep uncovering and discovering. I wanted more, so I went back. I first went to a single-sex workshop, feeling that working with women only would feel less dangerous. Bear in mind, I am a happy heterosexual. Oh boy, was I wrong. There we were asked in the most respectful way to undress and show our bodies to one another while actually discussing how we felt about that body. So many layers of shame, of difficult memories and emotional blocks were destroyed in an instant by this experience of sharing with my sisters and finding them open-hearted, accepting, and having so much resemblance to me. In fact, one characteristic of my tantric adventures was the rapidity with which things happened. Walls fell and blockages were lifted. Because when I agreed to be stripped bare, to be fully exposed, shadows and light, shame and love, guilt and joy, I could reconcile my whole self and fully be me in an instant. Please also do understand that this wasn't some theoretic woo-woo only in my head stuff. Tantra is a practice, an incarnated one, that reunites part of the self and brings together all aspects of my being, body, mind, and spirit. I want to stress how much of this was made possible because of the way the workshops were organized and facilitated, with sequences of varied practices, dance, meditation, rituals, mantra singing, sensual experimentation, group coaching, all intertwined with the beautiful setting of the hamlet the workshops took place in, the gorgeous food and time off to integrate, have fun and talk it over with fellow participants. I also want to stress how much gratitude I have for myself, who agreed to be open to that level of intimacy and vulnerability, who was okay to be exposed, words and all, for everyone to see, unprotected by clothes, masks, or the personas we wear in society. I gave myself permission. No, I gave myself the order to get over myself and just do it. I wasn't going to spend all that money and bypass the deep end of the pool, avoid the challenging part of the experience. If I was going to do it, I was doing it fully. I dared myself to get all in, to leave my complexes and objections and fears at the entrance of the room and go for it. And I did. So proud of me for that. A year after, I dared even more and went to a mixed-sex tantra workshop as an individual without my husband. Oh, and let me be clear, the ethics of the facilitators were very, very clear. We were asked to comply a very strict set of rules and guidelines which included no intercourse during the live sessions. These workshops were not giant orgies. Some people did have sex, hey, grown-ups are allowed, but never during the sessions. And anyway, the workshops weren't about that at all. Back to my mixed-sex experience. Now this was the profound, life-altering one. It changed me so deeply. After that workshop, I could not believe my own bullshit anymore. After that workshop, I could not believe my own lies and limitations anymore. Something in me had been cracked open, never to be closed again. Something in me was lost, something in me was found. I started seeing, like really seeing and feeling in my body, the magic in human beings and my own magic. I saw beauty in me. I saw beauty in everyone. I was feeling the love, the universal, unconditional love for myself, for others, for the whole freaking planet. And it felt freaking good to be united, to be whole. To finally accept the wholeness of me with all my flaws and my amazing qualities, and feel that deep acceptance in my body. It also felt amazing to understand energy, the chakras, and all those things that had been mere concepts until then. It felt so good. I felt so good. So I went back. Again and again. I actually became an assistant for the facilitators and helped with the organization at some point. And along the way of the many workshops and the many encounters and the many discoveries and the many beautiful instants and the many demanding and crazy hard moments, along that way I found myself. And I began loving myself truly. I began feeling comfortable with vulnerability, nakedness, with my body, with my emotions, with my shadows and my lights, with intimacy and profound honesty. It took me 4 years of nakedness to get here. 4 years of going so far out of my comfort zone that I couldn't even remember where it stood. 4 years of feeling the intense fear and the sheer excitement of dreading going back and being impatient at the same time. 4 years of opening up to self-love. 4 years of absolute joy. 4 years that changed me in more ways that I can explain or even understand. Now let me specify that this is not a 4 years and you're done experience. I now and forevermore define myself as a tantrika. Tantra is a practice, a daily one. It only changes me because I keep at it. Every day I remind myself to be true to myself, to be vulnerable, to be authentic in my private life, in my professional life, everywhere. Every day I remind myself that I am enough, that I am worthy, that I am lovable, that I am loved. So many connections to the work I do today. Working with women who need these reminders too, helping them shine in the online space in all their brilliance and authentic vulnerability. Yes, Tantra is a practice, a lifestyle and a path, one I am proud, delighted and fortunate to walk every day. Oh, and yes, it also brings a lot more fulfillment in the sex department. I would be so happy to hear you about all that. Thanks in advance for your comment. So much for today. See you soon for my next online adventures. Until then, I send you love, light and gratitude. Isaya. That's it for this episode. The next one is still in creation. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to support this podcast, share, subscribe and leave stars, blue thumbs and a review on whichever platform you listen to. If you want to be accompanied in the change processes that life offers you, if you want to participate in the awakening of feminine energy in the world, live your life as a goddess, know the secrets of witches, and apply the rituals of fairies in your daily life, contact me on my website, IsayaBelle.com. You can also subscribe to my newsletter to be informed of all the news in the real and virtual world of IsayaBelle.